global, African, and Nigerian economy. Here are the following updates we have at the moment. At the global level, the confirmed cases of COVID-19 are 5,545,067, while 247,568 deaths have been recorded, with 2,225,720 recoveries. In Africa, confirmed cases are 112,570, with 3,263 deaths and 44,906 recoveries. In Nigeria, the confirmed cases are 7,839, with 226 deaths and 2,263 recoveries. Let's give you some developing stories we have at the moment. Stocks gained modestly today after a survey showed German business morale rebounded in May, while investors kept a close eye on escalating US-China tensions in a thin trading session. MSCI's gauge of world stocks gained 0.4%, nearing a 2.5-month high. The pan-European stocks 600 index and US stocks further were up around 1% each. Lockdown measures introduced in mid-March have put the global economy on track for a recession this year. Only unprecedented stimulus by global central banks has held up world markets in recent weeks. With nervous investors wary of adding to their equity holdings over concerns on what a post-lockdown world would look like, Germany's IFO Institute survey for May gave some relief. The index rebounded more than a Reuters poll expected in May, recovering from its worst decline on record in April as the reopening of Europe's largest economy boosted corporate expectations. But analysts voiced caution, given the uncertainty ahead from the pandemic, with IFO itself expecting a double-digit contraction in Europe's largest economy in the second quarter of 2020. The German government and management of flagship carrier Lufthansa, which has been hit hard by the coronavirus pandemic, have reached a preliminary deal on a €9 billion, equivalent to $9.8 billion bailout. The agreement is still pending approval by the German Coronavirus Rescue Fund Steering Committee, which is expected to meet today, as well as Lufthansa's boards and the European Union Commission. Lufthansa declined to comment on the developments. The German Economy Ministry said that negotiations were in their last phase but have not yet formally concluded. Shares in the company were up 6.2% at €8, while currently the carrier said last week it was in advanced talks on a deal that would involve the government taking 2 seats on a supervisory board, but only exercising full voting rights in exceptional circumstances, such as to protect the firm against a takeover. Lufthansa has been in talks with Berlin for weeks over aid to help it cope with what is expected to be a protracted travel slump, but has been wrangling over how much control to yield in return for support. Early attempts to resolve a wage dispute between the South African government and public sector trade unions have failed, and the dispute will now move to arbitration, according to the bargaining chamber where such wage disputes are heard. The dispute has important economic implications. Public sector salaries make up around a third of state expenditure, and the government is trying to carve out more fiscal space to fight the coronavirus without falling further into debt. It is also politically sensitive since the governing African National Congress is allied with some unions and will rely on them to rally support before the local elections in 2021. Unions have obtained a certificate of non-resolution of the dispute in the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council, PSCBC. A copy of the certificate showed. PSCBC General Secretary Friki de Bruin told Reuters arbitration hearings would start by mid-June. An arbitrator will issue an award after the hearings are complete, with the matter potentially heading to court or resulting in a strike if the unions aren't happy. Jaguar Land Rover is in talks with the government to secure a loan of more than €1 billion, following a drop in sales during the coronavirus pandemic. According to reports, the car maker has been in discussion for weeks about a support package. JLR, which is owned by India's Tata Motors, has seen sales plunge by more than 30% in its most recent quarter. A spokeswoman said JLR is in regular discussion with government on a whole range of matters. While the exact size of the loan is not yet clear, JLR said suggestions that the car maker is seeking as much as £2 billion is inaccurate and speculative. A spokeswoman for the Department of Business, Energy and Industrial Strategy said the government is in regular contact with the car manufacturing sector to assist them through this crisis. Chinese e-commerce giant Alibaba said it has seen a steady recovery in the country since March, but warned that the path to an economic rebound remains uncertain. The firm's sales grew 22% in 3 months to 31st of March 2020 despite virus-related restrictions denting activity. The gain was stronger than expected, driven by demand for groceries, electronics, and cloud computing. Supply chain disruptions and investment losses weighed on its result overall. The performance of China's economy, in which Alibaba is a key player, is being closely watched as a preview of how the rest of the world might fare following the abrupt economic shutdowns aimed at controlling the spread of COVID-19. And now, news around Nigeria. The big story today in Nigeria is that the first quarter of the 2020 Nigeria's gross domestic product showed that the country grew by 1.87% year-on-year in real terms. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the performance was recorded against the backdrop of significant global disruptions resulting from the COVID-19 public health crisis, a sharp fall in oil prices, and restricted international trade. The performance recorded in Q1 2020 represents a drop of minus 0.23 percent points compared to the first quarter of 2019 and minus 0.68 points compared to Q4 2019, reflecting the earliest effects of the disruption, particularly on the non-oil economy. Quarter-on-quarter, real GDP growth was minus 14.27% compared to 5.59% recorded in the preceding quarter. In the quarter under review, aggregate GDP stood at 35.647 trillion in nominal terms. This performance was higher when compared to the first quarter of 2019, which recorded 31.824 trillion naira, with a nominal growth rate of 12.04% year-on-year. Related to the first quarter of 2019, the nominal growth rate was higher by 0.11 percent points, but lower than the preceding quarter by minus 0.32 percent points. For better clarity, the Nigerian economy has been classified broadly into the oil and non-oil sectors. For the oil sector, during the first quarter of 2020, an average daily oil production of 2.07 million barrels per day was recorded. The production level was higher than the 1.99 million barrels per day recorded in the same quarter of 2019 by 0.08 million barrels per day, and the fourth quarter of 2019 by 0.06 million barrels per day. The oil sector recorded a real sector growth of 5.06% year-on-year in Q1 2020, indicating an increase of 6.51 percent points relative to the rates recorded in corresponding quarter of 2019. However, growth decreased by minus 1.30 percent points when compared to fourth quarter 2019, which was 6.36%. Quarter-on-quarter, the oil sector recorded a growth rate of 11.30% in first quarter 2020. The oil sector contributed 9.50% to aggregate real GDP in Q1 2020, up from figures recorded in corresponding period of 2019 and the preceding quarter, as the share of the non-oil economy declined. Now to the non-oil sector. The non-oil sector grew by 1.55% in real terms during the reference quarter, first quarter 2020. This was slower by minus 0.93 points compared to the rates recorded during the same quarter of 2019, and minus 0.72 percent points slower than the fourth quarter of 2019. This non-oil sector was driven mainly by the following sectors: information and communication technology, finance and insurance, agriculture, mining and quarrying, and of course construction. In real terms, the non-oil sector contributed 90.50% to the nation's GDP in first quarter of 2020, less than its share in the first quarter of 2019, which was 90.78%, and the fourth quarter of 2019 recorded as 92.68%. Activities that witnessed weaker performance relative to the first quarter 2019 include quarrying, road transport, accommodation, and food services, as well as real estate. We'll continue to give you further updates on the big news that came out today on the first quarter 2020 Gross Domestic Product Report published by the National Bureau of Statistics. And that will be all for today's COVID-19 updates. You can visit our website www.proshare.ng.com to get more updates from our news stories and videos and reports. This period, ProShare Nigeria's leading financial information hub has packaged for you a platform, the Corona Central Watch, that gives you credible and reliable data from the world national to state tracker. Also this period, you can log on to www.proshareng.com/COVID-19 to get all those updates. Follow our social media platforms showing on the screen for further updates on our market reports. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day and stay safe.